It's not because I endorse any particular religion or denomination. I don't. I'm not here to seek any souls. I am not here to condemn anybody. I'm not here to tell anybody what the way they're living it's wrong or they need to change something about themselves. That is that is not my purpose. Never will be, never would be. Okay? My reason for coming here in the mornings to read the Bible is actually to benefit me. It is for me that I am doing it. I've just chosen to share this journey out loud. So you all can be a part of the journey. Those of you who are interested, you know, there are people here who have been with me since I started in the beginning, since I started the book of Genesis 3 years ago. And we are taking quite a few breaks. That's why we are just now getting to the revelation. But we have been reading from Genesis. Okay? So if you are somebody who, when you hear somebody have disagreements or questions about the Bible, you get your britches in a bundle and you get all upset and you want to swear at them, you want to tell them how much they're going to hell and how much they're blaspheming, please, let me just warn you, this is not the place for you. I do not come here to get anybody upset, but you understand that you getting upset is you being unable to control your emotions. Okay? I'm not mad at you for you believing what you believe. So please offer me the same courtesy. All right? Don't text me some foolishness. Don't text me some nonsense about blaspheming and going to hell and all of this nonsense. If you want to text that to somebody, text it to your mama. Don't text it to me, please. Don't tell me such garbage. Okay? The Bible was given to us as our moral guide, and we are expected to read it and understand what is in it and, ask ourselves, what are we following? Why are we following this? What's going on here? How does this apply to my life? Those are questions that you should ask. For 50 some years of my life, I never asked those questions because after all, the Bible was given to me. I was indoctrinated in believing what the Bible says. I was socialized into believing that the Bible is the all in all when it comes to moral guidance. And so I just went by it. Oh, the commandment says, thou shalt not, thou shalt not, thou shalt not. And I went by it until I decided, you know what? I need to read this book for myself. I need to see what is going on in there. I need to find out the people who were making these utterances in the Bible. To whom were they making these utterances? And under what circumstances were these utterances being made? So that I can determine whether or not these utterances had anything to do with me. And so I started to read. And what do you know? From me starting to read, I have come across a lot of questionable writings in the Bible that nobody seemed to be able to have the answer to. But they will tell you, oh, you don't need to know that, God is the beginning and the end, and you don't need to ask all those questions, that's not important. Well, it's important to me because I want to understand the logic, particularly when it comes to God having made everything and being responsible for the actions of everything and everyone, including the devil. Yet, the devil continues to roam. I'm going to say it like that. Like the devil continues to roam and seems to be winning, if you will. He be raging this war against our state of mind, against our will for peace, against our will for love and affection towards each other and to treat each other the way we like to be treated and all. And people say to me, well, we sin because the devil, Satan, Lucifer, he was thrown out of heaven down to earth to cause us all to sin. And my question is, how did he end up in heaven in the first place? If God made everything, everybody, including him, didn't God know that he was going to sin? That he was going to bring forth this negative energy into heaven? Why would Satan have been allowed, Lucifer have been allowed to have access to this negative energy in heaven of all places? When I was taught, okay, no, sin can't go in heaven, heaven is a pure place, etc. If heaven is a pure place and no sin can enter there, how then was Lucifer influenced to sin there? So much so that he was thrown out onto earth. I can't get an answer to that, because there is none. Also, as we have been reading, we see where the apostles talk about angels who were thrown out of heaven because they sinned, and they are roaming the earth and causing us to sin. And I say, why did these people have access to sin in heaven of all places? So much so that they could be thrown out down to earth. But if these people, if these angels could be thrown out of heaven down to earth to cause us man to sin, why would this God want us, his people, to live in such a state? And I know y'all gonna come and say, oh, Trev, one day God is gonna come out of the sky and he's going to eradicate all of this sinning. You will sin no more. He's going to take the people who are sinless and take them up to this heaven, and they're going to be up there, and he's going to destroy the rest of the earth with fire, burn up everything and everybody, and make the earth pure where there will be no sin. And then he's going to bring back these people to come back to live on earth. Why didn't he do that already? Why hasn't he done that already? There have been so many opportunities, yet that has not been done. All right, we're going to go back to Adam and Eve. Adam and Eve were in this garden, according to the Bible. Were in this garden. The devil tempted them and allowed them to eat this fruit, causing them to sin. And this sin was them disobeying God and them now knowing that there is good and there is evil. Okay? That to me was an opportunity for God to say, well, you know what? Satan, you are going to be a bad influence on my creation. We're going to get rid of you. He didn't do that. He didn't say to Adam and Eve, well, this is your one sin, your only sin. I'm going to forgive you, and this Satan is going to have no access to you anymore. He didn't do that. Instead, he threw them out with a curse, a forever curse on them, and threw them out, saying he did not want them to discover the tree of life. So out of the garden they went. That was their punishment. There was no grace given to them, no forgiveness, nothing. Just being thrown out. We come on again to the story of Noah. Do y'all remember the story of Noah? Yeah, Noah, that man who built this big boat. The man who, according to the Bible, built this big boat that he had all these animals in for what, 150 days, I believe. I don't remember how long. He had these animals and himself and his three sons and their wives and his wife in this big boat while the earth was being flooded. Why was it that according to the Bible, God flooded the earth? He said the earth was too filthy with sin. The people were unruly and the people were committing so much sin that the sins had reached up to the highest heavens. So he had a plan for the people who were committing this sin. He wanted to purify the earth. So his plan was to get rid of all these people so that he could rid the earth of sin. Okay, so he saved 8 people and he flooded the entire world and drowned everybody else. But when this flood was over and he let out these 8 people and say to them, go on, replenish the earth, go have as many babies as you want and replenish the earth. They still did not get a blueprint as to what to do and what not to do. That right there to me was another opportunity. If God wanted so badly to cleanse humans of sin, that there was another opportunity to say to Noah, listen, you see how I've destroyed the earth? I've destroyed all these people because of the sins that they have been committing. These are the sins that they have committed that has angered me to this level. Please, I don't want you or your children or your children's children to commit these sins. Never gave Noah any of that. Just send him out and say, listen, go and go replenish the earth. But listen, if the people of the earth sin like this again, I'm not going to come back to drown them. I'm going to come back to turn them into ashes. I'm going to come to burn them all up if they ever sinned like that again. But where was the blueprint to say to Noah, these are the things that bothers me. These are the things you should not be doing. Poor Noah never got any of that. So I asked the question, was that not an opportunity for this God to cleanse the earth, to get rid of this Satan that they're saying is responsible for all the ill will and the sins of this earth? Was that not an opportunity? Okay. But according to your Bible, God didn't. He didn't destroy the earth and say, okay, I'm getting rid of the people who are sinning plus Satan so that the next generation that comes on the earth and subsequent generations will be able to live in peace. He said, no, you see that rainbow up there, so watch me out, no. The things that may I come back with water, may I come back with fire next time, come burn up. Why the drag along? You know, if there's a problem and it bothers you, get rid of it, fix it right there, since you have all that authority to fix the problem. Why continue to bait the people and take them along? But anyway, it's y'all's Bible. Y'all believe whatever y'all Bible tell you. You ain't stop to think logically about what is going on here. That's why many of you get so upset when I think logically and ask these questions. Questions I know are rhetorical because I know none of you can answer them. But I ask them out loud anyway, because as I read the Bible and I come across these instances where I can't explain it, you can't explain it, nobody can explain it, I say it out loud. So you all will see how vulnerable I am, you know, with all this, what you call, all of this information. It's a lot. It's a lot. And these prophets and apostles that are speaking, they are, in my view, they are documenting their experiences, either their actual experiences or their perceived experiences. If you notice outlandish things, a lot of the outlandish things that they document, that the prophets document, that they have seen and heard, have you noticed that it's often in a dream? It's often in a vision. It's not when they are up and conscious, where somebody else can verify and say, yes, I was there and I saw X, Y, or Z. It's always one person claiming to have met God while he was, this one was, I think this was Jacob when he was on his way to his uncle Laban after he done robbed his brother Isaac. His brother Esau, forgive me. Sometimes my brain mix up the names. But after Jacob had robbed his brother Esau and his parents had tried to save him from his brother's wrath and send him on to his uncle Laban, he lay down to sleep and claimed that he saw a ladder going from heaven to earth and angels transcending, going back and forth on the ladder. These things, you all know when you sleep. You get sometimes some outlandish, some weird dreams. Are they reality? When you go to sleep and you dream that you are flying and gliding over the city and looking down on everybody, is that real? Do you expect that one day you are going to automatically have these powers where you can fly over the city and look down on everybody? When people tell me that these dreams of people, these visions are going to come true, I'm just like, really? Really? Yesterday, we read of John. We read what John said about his dream, what he saw in his vision. You know, he said he saw heaven open up and somebody up there asked him if he want to come up and take a look. He went up and he took a look. He saw a man sitting on a throne with a golden crown on his head. He saw 24 chairs around the man, and an elder was sitting on each chair. Excuse me. An elder was sitting on each chair. He saw 4 creatures. One had like the face of a man, one had the face of a lion, one had the face of a lamb, and the other had the face like an eagle. And all of them had eyes all around their head, and they were wearing this golden loin thing, and they were wearing this long white robe, and their feet looked like brass, like something that had been burnt. And then there was this lamb in the middle, and this lamb seemed to have been wounded. And the man that was sitting on the throne had a book in his hand, and this book can't be read by anybody in heaven, can't be read by anybody on earth. But this wounded lamb went up to the man and took the book. And when he opened the book, the creature asked him, John, you want to come look? And he said yes. And he went and he looked in the book, and there was a horse, a white horse with a bow and something, some bow and arrow and something of the sort. This was the first seal that this lamb took off this book. And he said this book had 7 seals on it. The second seal, when he opened the second seal, it had a red horse. And this red horse had a responsibility. And the responsibility of this red horse was to remove peace, I mean PEACE, from men on earth. This red horse's responsibility was to ensure that you all got no peace in your lives, was to ensure that you are always fighting against each other. This red horse's responsibility was to ensure that you all continue to unalive each other. And this red horse, when this lamb opened the second seal, this red horse is let go on earth. And my question is, why why would a God have such a book? Why would a God who expects us to come to him and kneel and pray and ask for forgiveness and ask for guidance and ask to replenish, to constantly replenish our desire for peace and love towards each other, why would he have a horse that has the responsibility of robbing us of peace, of causing us to unalive each other, knowing fully well that when these events occur, we are coming back to him to ask for mercy? Does that make sense? Does that make sense? Not to me. Not to me. And I know a lot of you like to say, oh, Trev, man, you blaspheme. Yeah, talk about, what am I facing on foolishness about blaspheme? Here? The Bible was meant to be read. If I'm supposed to read the Bible and I'm supposed to go by what is in the Bible, then I have all right to question what is in the Bible. No, not sound like I'm not trying to manipulate me. I'm not in for that. Because if you notice, when these apostles, the apostles that we have been reading about, if you all notice, when these apostles, after they had taught the people what they had taught the people, and they had decided that they are, not decided, but they had gotten older and they were leaving their congregation with the word that they had taught them. You notice that every one of them tell their congregation, don't talk to unbelievers. Don't talk to people who don't believe in this doctrine. Now you tell me, why would they not want to talk to people who did not believe this doctrine? Don't entertain anybody who asking questions. To me, that is a form of manipulation. Because you cannot say, you're not going to entertain anybody who don't believe what you believe. You're not going to talk to people who don't believe what you believe. That's when you should talk to them. And if what you believe, you have irrefutable proof that what you believe is fact, hard fact, then you should want to talk to unbelievers and share that fact so that they can understand it. And even if they don't join you in your belief, you would have already laid out the facts to them. They can't say they don't have the facts. But these apostles, they told the people, no, don't talk to the people who are unbelievers. Yeah, have nothing to do with them. Because they are this, they are that. God is coming to destroy them. Have nothing to do with them. Really? Really? Mitchie Boo, what's up? Really? When I don't think that should be the message. The message should be that you share this wonderful message. Share this wonderful story. Share this. HG, what's up? Share what you have learned, what you have been taught, what you believe. Because we fundamentally believe that what you have been taught is foundation, is the truth. Share it with them. But no, they say, don't talk to them. They who don't believe, don't talk to them. You must have nothing to do with them. Right, AG? You must have nothing to do with the people who don't believe. And I'm like, what are you hiding? What are you hiding? Why? How are you going to continue to grow the fold if you're going to ignore the people who don't believe what you believe? How are you going to ignore them? You're going to not talk to them? You're going to annihilate them because they don't believe what you believe? So what about when all these people believe what you believe die out? What's going to happen? Your religion going to die out too if you are not spreading this word or teaching it to other people and winning more souls for the continuation of this religion. But anywho, that's what they taught the people. So they mustn't talk to people like me. Because me have too much question. Me ask too much question. So I'm the one to be feared. Not the people who give the cockadoodle story to run with. But anywho, let us continue here. Let us continue with our reading. Let me set my light here a little better. No, hold on, let me set up my light. You know why me My ring light stop work. Watch us on this look one and not work either. Can't read in the dark, you know. Sitting, come on now. I'm not see people. Right, me talk about the people them religion and they make me light now work. Yeah, G. Uh-oh, look like it have one shots tonight. Damn. Look at the light on our shots, people. The light ain't lighting at all. I know some I want next one upstairs. I'm not about the feet at all. Not right now. Oh, see like alright, there it is. See there, come on. That means you have one shot. It's kind of supposed to take so long to come on, not true? But anyway, we are going to continue reading. So this morning, we're going to continue with the reading. We are going to be reading from Revelation chapters 10, 11, and 12. For those of you over here on the talk, I appreciate you. Thank you so much for tapping the screen. For those of you on the tube, don't forget, if you tap your screen once, it will register your like. I appreciate you, and I thank you all sincerely for having come into my life. I appreciate y'all. All right, we are going to start with the reading. You can get your book Bible or your Google Bible and come along with us as we read from the book of Revelation, chapters 10, 11, and 12. All right. John says, now remember, this is John's vision. All right. John says in chapter 10, he says, and I saw another mighty angel. Remember yesterday, he said he saw, he said in that same vision, he said he saw 7 angels, and each of these angels carried a trumpet. And when each of them blew their trumpet, something happened on earth. So one would blow the trumpet and the sea would end up 1/3 of it turned to blood or something of that sort. Go read it back. Don't let me say something that's not, but something like that. The second one blew the trumpet and something else like an earthquake was on earth and something. But when he got to the fifth angel, when the 5th angel blew his trumpet, there was a star that fell from heaven, and this star had a key to this bottomless pit that was on earth. And the star came down to earth and opened up this bottomless pit, and out of this bottomless pit came fire and soot and smoke and some locusts, some very particular locusts came out of this bottomless pit, the Bible calls it. And these locusts, we know that locusts eat grass, but these locusts were not interested in grass or greenery or anything like that. They were not interested in plant material. They were interested in meat. Yeah, human meat. That's what these locusts came out to eat. And these locusts were so special. They had the face of a man, the body of a horse, the hair of a woman, the teeth of a lion. When they flapped their wings, it sounded like 1,000 horses dragging chariots going to battle. They had the tail of a scorpion. Some very special locusts. And these locusts were, in his vision, were eating men, eating humans for 5 months. Why 5 months? I don't know what was the significance of that 5 months, but he said for 5 months these locusts, I don't know if it is were feeding or are going to feed. The test part of it we go have to work out. But these locusts, these strange locusts, was eating are going to eat human flesh for 5 months. He also talked about the 144. I think it was in chapter 7. He talked about the 144 people who have this mark of this beast, who are going to be chosen, who have already been chosen. These 144 are 12,000 from each of the tribe of Jacob. Yeah, Jacob's 12 sons, 12,000 people from each of Jacob's sons is considered to be the chosen. He says he saw all 12 of all 144,000 of them that were already chosen. So my question is, if these people were chosen for this kind of redemption, if the number of them is 144,000 and these people have already been chosen, what selection process the rest of y'all are waiting for? You know, because John says the 144 people have already been chosen. And these are 12,000 from each of the tribe of Jacob. So that would mean that, what's your point? I'm just asking. I'm just thinking this through. Because the Bible isn't Bibling at all. It's not making sense to me. It's not making sense. But I'm going to continue reading. Yeah, because that's why I'm here. You know, and even though I'm assessing it for myself, and you are hearing my flubs and my blubs out loud, there are more questions that I haven't asked out loud than there are. Trust me. But we're going to continue reading, right? AG, people on the tube, thank you so much. Don't forget to register your like. All right. Revelation chapter 10. And I saw another mighty angel come down from heaven, clothed with a cloud, and a rainbow was upon his head, and his face was as it were the sun, and his feet as pillars of fire. And he had in his hand a little book that was open, and he set his right foot upon the sea, and his left foot on the earth, and cried with a loud voice, as when a lion roars. And when he had cried, 7 thunders uttered their voices. And when the seven thunders had uttered their voices, I was about to write. And I heard a voice from heaven saying unto me, seal up those things which the 7 thunders uttered, and do not write them. Okay. So John says, make say what John say now. John said he saw a mighty angel come down from heaven down to earth. This angel put one of his foot on the sea and one on the earth. All right. And then he said, he heard a loud thunder. He heard like the roarings of 7 thunders. And he was about to write that, listen, this is what I saw. This is what I experienced. And a voice said to him, don't write that. Don't write that. All right. Since the voice tell him to don't write that, let's see what he does instead. He says, and the angel which I saw stand upon the sea and upon the earth lifted up his hand to heaven and swear by him that lives forever and ever, who created heaven and the things that are in it, and the earth and the things that are in earth, and the sea and the things that are in the sea, that there should be time no longer. All right. So when this voice said to John, said, don't write nothing, he saw this angel that have 1 foot on the sea and 1 foot on the earth lift up in your hand and swear to heaven. And he swear by the person, by He who make heaven and earth, and he who make the sea and all things in them. And there should be time no longer. Let me mark that. Let's move on to verse 7. But in the days of the voice of the seventh angel, when he shall begin to sound, the misery of God should be finished. The mystery, pardon me, not misery, mystery. All right, let's read that again. But in the days of the voice of the seventh angel, when he shall begin to sound, the mystery of God should not finish, as he hath declared to his servants and prophets. And the voice which I heard from heaven spake unto me again, and said, Go and take the little book, which is open in the hand of the angel, which stand upon the sea and upon the earth. All right. So the voice tell John to go take this book out of the angel's hand. And I went unto the angel and said unto him, Give me that little book. And he said unto me, Take it and eat it up, and it shall make your belly bitter, but it shall be in thy mouth sweet as honey. And I took the little book out of the angel's hand and ate it up, and it was in my mouth sweet as honey. And as soon as I had eaten it, my belly was bitter. And he said unto me, Thou must prophesy again before many people and nations and tongues and kings. Now, right here, so bring me to pause. I don't think he meant literally eating the book, because what would be the point? I think he meant reading the book. Yeah, reading the book. But he used eating as a way to say that he had digested. When he said he swallowed it and it was bitter, that means that he has digested the words. He has taken to heart the words that are on the pages of this book. Okay? So when he eat it up, it means that he has read it. He has comprehended it. It's stuck in his brain. Okay? And then once he has understood what is on the pages of this book, when it talks about he's going to make his belly bitter, it means that the proclamations on the pages of that book he's not going to like. Okay? We know that oftentimes the Bible speaks figuratively, and that's why we got to read it for ourselves. Yeah, because I don't think he meant he literally ate that book. But we are going to move right along. We're going to move right along into Revelation chapter 11. Right? I feel like I could take a sip of my tea. Do I have your permission to take a little sip of my tea? Oh, that burnt me. But I needed that warmth on my stomach. But anyway, we're going to move right along, lovely people, into Revelation chapter 11. All right? So follow along with me. Let's go. And there was given me a reed like unto a rod, and a reed like a piece of bramble, you know. And there was given me a reed like unto a rod, and the angel stood, saying, Rise and measure the temple of God, and the altar, and them that worship therein. But the court which is outside the temple, leave that out. All right, so you shouldn't measure the court that is outside the temple, just the temple itself. Leave that out. Do not measure it, for it is given unto the Gentiles, and the holy city shall they tread underfoot 42 months. Hold up, another number I saw again. Let's read that again. He says, this is John speaking. John says, and there was given to me a reed like a rod, and the angel stood saying, rise and measure the temple of God and the altar and them that worship inside this temple. But the court, which is outside, the outside of the temple, leave that out. Don't measure it, for it is given to the Gentiles, and the holy city shall they tread underfoot for 42 months. You know what that means? I don't know what that means, but I'll continue to read it. And I will give power unto my 2 witnesses, and they shall prophesy 1,260 days, clothed in sackcloth. Hold up. Let me read this today again. Him not say who did give him this piece of rod, I don't know if it was the angel or who, but that no matter. He got this piece of rod, this piece of stick, and this voice tell him to measure this church, measure the altar, measure the people inside, measure everything inside of the temple. But don't measure the outside, because the outside is reserved for the Gentiles to trample on the city for 42 months. Let's continue. It's God of Daniel. And I will give power unto my 2 witnesses. Who is the 2 witnesses? I don't know. And I will give power unto my 2 witnesses, and they shall prophesy 1,260 days, clothed in sackcloth. $1,260 days, clothed in sackcloth. There's 2 witnesses. I don't know who those 2 witnesses are, but we're going to continue reading. It says, these are the 2 olive trees and the 2 candlesticks standing before the God of the earth. And if any man will hurt them, fire proceeded out of their mouth and devours their enemies. And if any man will hurt them, he must in this manner be killed. These have power to shut heaven, that it rain not in the days of their prophecy, and have power over waters to turn them to blood, and to smite the earth with all plagues as often as they will. Let's read that again. He says he will give power to 2 witnesses, and they shall prophesy 1,260 days in sackcloth and ashes. You never say no ashes, but you just say in sackcloth. These are the 2 olive trees and the 2 candlesticks standing before the God of the earth. And if any man will hurt them, fire proceeds out of their mouth and devour their enemies. And if any man will hurt them, he must in this manner be killed. These have power to shut heaven, that it rain not. These have power to shut heaven, that it rain not in the days of their prophecy, and have power over waters to turn them into blood, and to smite the earth with plagues as often as they will. Good morning, Sister Cod. How you doing, sister? So good to see you. Welcome. Welcome into the revelation. Roy, I see you. Good morning, my love. How you doing? Let us continue. He says, these have power to shut heaven, that it rains not in the days of their prophecy, and have power over waters to turn them to blood, and to smite the earth with all plagues, as often as they will. Oh, God says she went walking. Oh, great. Every morning, I say I should get up and go do a little walking. I can't bother. But let us continue. And when they shall have finished their testimony, the beast shall ascend out of the bottomless pit, shall make war against them, and shall overcome them and them. And their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city, which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt, where also our Lord was crucified. The place where Jesus was crucified, Adesso did name Sodom. I did Egypt Adesso. I don't know. Yes, a wishbone or wishbone or backbone, child, I have neither. I have neither. Girl, I get up in the morning, I feel energized, but not energized to go walk up and down out the door. Yeah. not kind of energized. I must go walk one morning though, because I want to go show you all. Remember that place where I went the other day where they were building those houses? I'm sure those houses are finished by now and people are living there. Around there in the swamp. Well, around there in this swamp where all the mosquitoes and everything around there. I'm sure they build a lot of houses. A lot of the houses I showed you all that were building, I'm sure they are finished. I must walk around there one morning and go look. I'm sure people live in those houses already. But let us continue. Let us move right along, beautiful people. John says, and when they shall have finished their testimony, the beast that ascends out of the bottomless pit shall make war against them, and shall overcome them and slay them. And their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city, which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt, where also our Lord was crucified. And they of the people and kindreds and tongues and nations shall see their dead bodies 3.5 days. For 3.5 days, and shall not suffer their dead bodies to be put in graves. And they that dwell upon the earth shall rejoice over them, and make merry, and shall send gifts one to another, because these two prophets tormented them that dwelt on the earth. All right, so this one and that's what John say. The earth, them two profiteers are going to cause death and destruction to the earth, and them are going to cause people to be slain, and the people are going to rise up against these two prophets and slay them, and what? And their body's going to be left in the street for how many days, and nobody going to pick them up, put them in the grave, and this, whatever this is that's going to come out of this bottomless pit. One thing, John have a very active imagination. That imagination is like wild, yo. Let me tell you. Now he says, and they that dwell upon the earth shall rejoice over them. So the people who are left on the earth is going to be rejoicing over these dead people. All right, they shall rejoice over them and make merry and send gifts one to another, because these two prophets had tormented them that dwell on the earth. So this is some kind of revenge that is enacted on these two prophets that have tormented the people of the earth. Okay. And after 3 days and a half, so after these 3.5 days that the bodies are lying outside in the streets, and the people are looking at them and laughing and making fun and making merry that these two prophets are dead, he says, and after 3 days, 3.5 days, the spirit of life from God entered into them, and they stood upon their feet, and great fear fell upon them which saw them. So for 3.5 days, the people are mocking and, celebrating because these two prophets had made their lives a living hell. And then after these 3.5 days, God appeared and caused these prophets to stand back upon their feet after they were dead for 3.5 days. And it brought great fear in the eyes of the people who saw it. And they heard a great voice from heaven saying unto them, Come up here. And they ascended up to heaven in a cloud, and their enemies beheld them. This not sound too right. So if admittedly the Bible say these two prophets, using the words of the Bible, these two prophets had tormented the people. These two prophets had tormented the people. It didn't say these two prophets were good and great and doing God's work and the people were rebellious. It said these two prophets tormented the people. Yet these two prophets were dead, laying out for 3.5 days. And the people were celebrating because after all, here comes their redemption. Yeah, their tormentors have been taken care of. And the people are celebrating. And then God comes down and puts back life in these two prophets and take them up in heaven. Okay, let's continue. They said, and they heard a great voice from heaven saying unto them, Come up here. And they ascended up to heaven in a cloud, and their enemies beheld them. And the same hour was there a great earthquake, and the 10th part of the city fell. And in the earthquake were slain of men 7,000 men. And the remnants were so afraid and gave glory to God of heaven. God said they were tormenting, as in press them to come to God. Was it? Was it? Okay. All right, we'll continue reading because I want to see if that's what it was, that they were pressing the people to come to God, these two prophets. That's what the Bible means when it says these tormented. We'll see. I'm not saying you're wrong, because I know you have read ahead and you have given this a lot of thought, but we'll see. Good morning, Sister Winsome. How are you doing? Welcome, Sister Winsome. Welcome. Good to see you. Chef Henry, what's up? Let me sip my little tea. Wait. Tea bun me. But we're going to continue reading. Sister Winsome, happy Wednesday to you. Let us move along, beautiful people. It says, and the same hour, that's the same hour when these two prophets were taken up into heaven. The same hour, there was a great earthquake, and 1/10 of the city fell. And the earthquake slew 7,000 men, and the remnants were so afraid that they started to worship God in heaven. The second woe is past, and behold, the third woe is coming. Wow, in the first woe. What was the first woe called? Because this now would have been the second woe, he says, where the 10th of the city fell down and killed 7,000 people. That would have been the third woe. Being the second woe, but I don't know what was the first woe. Anyway, make we continue. Let us continue. The second woe is past, and behold, the third woe comes quickly. And the seventh angel sounded. Now remember, these are this angel. Why you have one lasso? Yes. And I don't want cat or one dog. Me I go eat him later. You a mess. He shall be dinner later. Let us continue, lovely people. Me say, yeah, them swiffy, brother. All right. So, let us continue. Let us continue with the reading. Verse 14. If you're just coming and you're wondering where I'm reading from this morning, I'm reading from the book of Revelation. And I'm actually reading Revelation chapter 11 right now. Today I'm reading chapters 10, 11, and 12. And we are now on to chapter 11, where John continues to tell us what he has seen in his dream. You know, rather interesting, very elaborate things, very unbelievable stuff that he has seen in his dreams. Things that we know are not humanly possible. But John saw them in his vision, like it is with any vision. When you see stuff in your vision, you don't make them a reality. But, you know, people have been led to believe that what John saw in his vision is something that is going to happen to humans. So let me read it for y'all. Let me read. Verse 14 says, the second woe is past, and behold, the third woe comes quickly. And the seventh angel sounded. And there were great voices in heaven saying, the kingdoms of this world are become the kingdoms of our Lord and of his Christ, and he shall reign forever and ever. Barry, good morning. How are you doing? And the 24 elders. Now, remember, remember where these 24 elders come from? Remember John said when the heaven opened, and the voice told him if he wanted to come up and see what was happening in heaven. And he went up there. Remember, he said he saw the man sitting on the throne. And he saw 24 chairs around, each of them with an elder. This is the 24 elder that he's talking about here still. Remember, I'm still in the dream, you know. Okay. He says, and the 24 elders which sat before God on their seats fell upon their faces and worshipped God, saying, We give thee thanks. We give thee thanks, O Lord God Almighty, which art and was and art to come, because thou hast taken to thee thy great power and has reigned. Donald, good morning, my love. How are you doing? Thank you for the roses. I appreciate you, my love. I appreciate you. How is your Wednesday going so far? Let us continue. Verse 18. And the nations were angry, and they wrath, and that what may I read rubbish this morning, Jesus? Oh no, hold on there. Oh no, hold on there. Let me put this in here right and I need the light. Let's read that again. Verse 18. And the nations were angry, and thy wrath is come, and the time of the dead, that they should be judged, and that thou shouldest give reward unto thy servants the prophets, and to the saints, and them that fear thy name, small and great, and should destroy them which destroy the earth. And the temple of God was opened in heaven, and there was seen in his temple the ark of his testament, and there were lightnings and voices and thunders and an earthquake and great hail. All right, there ends. Oh, Roy gave me a donut. I'm gonna eat that donut with my coffee. Oh, and you know when I say with my coffee, it's not really coffee. It is what I drink in the morning. No coffee. No coffee for me. Just my meringue. And I put some anise, some star anise in it, and a little piece of mint. Yeah. And that is my breakfast. Yeah. I think I'm gonna make breakfast this morning. I don't know what to make, but I might make breakfast this morning. I might, after we are done with this reading. Okay. So here, John has finished his John not finished. John is continuing to tell us about this dream, this vision that he has had. He now says the 24 elders, they fell down on their faces and they worship God, the God in heaven, which art and was and art to come, because thou hast taken to thee the great power and has reigned. Morning, Oral, how are you doing? And the nations were angry, and thy wrath is come, and the time of the dead, that they should be judged, and that thou shouldest give reward unto thy servants the prophets, and to thy saints, and them that fear thy name, small and great, and shouldest destroy them which destroy the earth. And the temple of God was opened in heaven, and there was seen in his temple the ark of his testament, and there were lightnings and voices and thunders and earthquake and great hail. All right. That's the end of Revelation chapter 11. We are going to move right along into Revelation chapter 12. Revelation chapter 12. Oh, well, there were. Okay. All right. Be safe, my love. Be safe. So, Revelation chapter 12, we are moving on to. Okay. And there appeared a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun, and the moon under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars. All right, so in John's vision, he's now in back up in a heaven, looking around again. And now he sees a woman. Now, boy, move from myself. Sure. Now he sees a woman clothed with the sun and the moon under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars. And she being with child, the woman is pregnant. Oh, hold up. The woman is pregnant, guys. And she being with child cried, travailing in birth, and pained to be delivered. So the woman was about to give birth. Hold on, nobody get hot. Nobody get hot. Hold on there. Hold on there, little. Let me turn that on here, so, cause me really need some, yes, that just like that to cool me down. So now John sees a pregnant woman in heaven, and this pregnant woman, want to make me repeat there something. So now John is back in heaven. He sees a pregnant woman in heaven, and this pregnant woman is about to give birth. The top of her is like the sun, and the bottom of her is of the moon. And she is in pain because she's about to give birth. Up in heaven. Let us see what's going on here. And there appeared a great wonder in heaven. A woman clothed with the sun and the moon under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars. And she being with child cried, travailing in birth, and pained to be delivered. So that woman here is in labor. And there appeared another wonder in heaven, and behold, a great red dragon, having 7 heads and 10 horns and 7 crowns upon his head. All right, so John go back up to heaven in his vision, and him see a woman up there clothed in the sun and the moon at her feet, and she is pregnant, she's in labor, she's about to give birth up there in heaven. And then another wonder he saw was one great red dragon with 7 heads and 10 horns and 7 crowns upon his heads. So a 7 head, each head have a crown on there. All right. And his tail drew the 3rd part of the stars of heaven and cast them to the earth. And the dragon stood before the woman which was ready to devour her child as soon as it is born. Una picture that in your head? Are you picturing that in your head? There's this woman clothed in the sun, her feet like the moon on the moon at her feet. She's pregnant. She is in pain. She's about to give birth. And then there is this dragon with 7 heads, with 7 crowns, and with a crown on each of these heads. And he's waiting to devour this child that this woman is preparing to deliver. Them something sound plausible too, no? Me know it sound plausible too. No? Me know it not sound plausible too, no? But I don't feel like you are forced to believe this. But anyway, this is where John Sam see up a heaven. This dragon waiting to devour this child as soon as it is born. And she brought forth a man child. That means that she just gave birth to a little boy. She brought forth a man child who was to rule all nations with a rod of iron. And her child was caught up unto God and to his throne. And the woman fled into the wilderness. What a wilderness the upper ever? This I can't say these things are not for the faint of heart. You're right. So now the woman give birth to this baby, this little boy. The dragon waiting to devour this baby. But this baby, hold on there. The dragon not get to devour the baby. Where the baby there? What happened to the baby? Hold on, let's read this again. Hold on, let me read this again. God said this is not for the faint of heart, and she's right. Because you got to read this a couple of times for it to sink in. And even after you've read it a couple of times, it's still quite baffling. You know, the things that are written here. Renata, good morning. How are you doing, my love? Good to see you. Let's see here. So he says, and there appeared another wonder in heaven, and behold, a great red dragon, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and 7 crowns upon each of his heads. And his tail drew the 3rd part of the stars of heaven and cast them to earth. So this dragon has some power. This dragon is able to draw a 1/3 of the stars in heaven and throw them down to earth. And the dragon stood before the woman who was getting ready to give birth, as he waited to devour her child as soon as it was born. And the woman gave birth to a little boy who was to rule all nations with a rod of iron. And her child was caught up unto God and to his throne. And the woman fled into the wilderness. So God caught up this baby to his throne, and the woman ran away into the wilderness that is up in heaven. Because remember, he says he's in heaven. And he said the woman ran away, gone into the wilderness. I think I have Daniel. So the woman fled into the wilderness, where she had a place prepared, where God prepared a place for her in the wilderness, that they should feed her there for 1,260 days. For 1,260 days. He had prepared that place for the people to feed, whoever is there to feed this woman for 1,260 days. Hold on a minute. Over here, so in chapter 11, John says, listen to me, I go back to chapter 11. John said, and I will give power unto my 2 witnesses, and they shall prophesy 1,260 days clothed in sackcloth. Let's move to chapter 12. And the woman fled into the wilderness, where she hath a place prepared by God. So God had prepared this place for her, that they should feed her there 1,260 days. What's the connection between this 1,260 days here, so? That they shall prophesy, and the 1,260 days that they should feed this woman. Let me see what God say. God say 3.5 and it's 3.5 years. 3.5 years. What's the significance? Why it's got to be this why they got to be the same for the prophets and for the feeding of this woman who was just giving birth to this little boy? What's the significance of this 1260 or the 3.5 years, as you say? Because remember, it's when you say it's 3.5 years, 3.5 years for us. But remember, they had said that the calendar, or the ancient calendar and the modern calendar are not the same. So it probably would have given more days or less. I'm not sure, guys. I'm just God says, oh, 7 years of tribulation. So the 3.5 plus 3.5. What? Where I say? 7 years of what kind of tribulation? What kind of tribulation are we talking about, sweetheart? Hold on, let me phone a lose charge. My phone is losing charge. Okay. I was waiting for God to say something there, people, because she says it's for 7. It's supposed to represent 7 years of tribulation. But make us continue. So here now, John is saying this woman in heaven just gave birth to this little baby boy, and this baby boy is caught up with God, and this lady runs off into the wilderness. This wilderness has already been prepared by God. The people in this wilderness have already been given instructions how to care for this woman, and he says they are to feed this woman for 1,260 days, the same number of days that John said here that the two prophecies, the two prophets should prophesy, the two witnesses should prophesy for the same number of days, 1,260. God said, if you go back to Daniel chapter 9, verse 24 and 25, in Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy, Daniel after Ezekiel. All right, Daniel what? You said Daniel 9. Yes. Daniel 9 verse my bad. Daniel 9 and verse 24 and 24 to 27. 70 weeks. 70 weeks are determined upon thy people and upon thy holy city to finish the transgression and to make an end of sins and to make reconciliation for iniquity. 70 days, it says, and to bring in everlasting righteousness and to seal up the vision and prophecy and to anoint the most holy. 70 weeks. Okay, morning, Barry. Know therefore and understand that from the going forth of the commandment to restore and to build Jerusalem unto the Messiah, the Prince shall be 7 weeks. Okay. Know therefore and understand that from the going forth of the commandment to restore and to build Jerusalem unto the Messiah, the Prince, shall be 7 weeks. Hold on. From Moses' time with the commandments unto the destruction of Israel. And a 28th generation that, because wasn't it 14 to David, and then 14, I think more than 28, because it was 14 generations from Moses to David. Hold on there. And from David to the carrying away of Israel into Babylon was another 14 generations. And then from the carrying away of the children of Israel into Babylon to the birth of Jesus was another 14 generations. So, me not get this what it has to right here, so. Because it says 70 weeks determined upon thy people and upon thy holy city to finish the transgression and to make an end of sins and to make reconciliation for iniquity and to bring in everlasting righteousness and to seal up the vision and prophecy and to anoint the most holy. Know therefore and understand that from the going forth of the commandment to restore and to build Jerusalem unto the Messiah the Prince shall be 7 weeks. Something right there, so. And 62 weeks shall be 7 weeks, and 6 score, that is 60, and 2 weeks. So that's what? 69 weeks? Shall be 69 weeks? Is that what it says here? It says it shall be 7 weeks and 3 score and 2 weeks. That's 62 weeks. The street shall be built again. So, is he prophesying that there should be, it should take 69 weeks to rebuild Jerusalem? All right, let us continue. And the wall, even in troublous times, and after 3 score and 2 weeks, so after 62 weeks, shall Messiah be cut off, but not for himself. And the people of the prince that shall come shall destroy the city and the sanctuary, and the end thereof shall be with a flood. And unto the end of the war, desolations are determined. And he shall confirm the covenant with many for 1 week. And in the midst of the week, he shall cause the sacrifice and the oblation to cease. And for the overspreading of abominations, he shall make it desolate, even until the consummation, and that determined shall be poured upon the desolate. Let me continue to read Revelation. I just paused there a little bit because something came in my mind and I wanted to go back. I remember there was something that was spoken about in the book of Hosea. They talked about this 1,000 and something days, but I thought it was 1,260. But when I went back to look, it was 1,290 days for something that had occurred back then. So scrap that and let's just move right on to the continuation of Revelation chapter 12. All right. So this woman, where we were in Revelation, this woman sees in heaven, she's pregnant, she's about to give birth. You know, she's bawling because she's at that point of giving birth. There's this dragon with this many heads, and this dragon is waiting to, you know, take possession of this child. And then she gives birth to this little boy, and God takes up this little boy, and the woman runs off into the wilderness that is up in heaven, this wilderness that God has prepared for her. And the people who are controlling this wilderness are supposed to feed her for 1260 days. That's where we were. And there was war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought and his angels. So, in this place of heaven, this brings me back to this place of heaven where there is purity, where there can be no sin, where no sin can enter into this heaven. My question continues to be, why is there war and hatred and jealousy up in this heaven? Why is it permitted that the same kinds of wars that are probably should only be happening on earth, why are these wars happening in heaven? Who permitted these kinds of energies to enter into this holy place called heaven? Me know me look fool, you know. Me know me look fool, but me not think me fool. Me not think so. Me just look it. Looks can be very deceiving. So up in this heaven that is supposed to be a pure place, why all this war going on up there? Make us continue reading. And there was war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought and his angels, and prevailed not, neither was their place found any more in heaven. And the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil, and Satan, which deceives the whole world. He's able to deceive the whole world and even find himself in heaven. So he has influence in heaven, he has influence on earth, doing all that he's doing. But the one power that, according to y'all, the one entity that has the power to destroy him, continue to allow him to have a measure of power and authority on earth and in heaven. Let us continue. He prevailed not, neither was there place found any more for him in heaven. Why did I do that in the first place? What was he doing there in the first place? But when nobody text me and tell me, oh Trev, you need to keep it all English because I don't understand. Well, I'm sorry. So this dragon prevailed not, neither was their place found any more in heaven. And this great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil, that old serpent called Satan, which deceived the whole world. He was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. So Satan did run things up a heaven. Satan have him one angels. Satan had do him one thing up in a heaven. Yeah? And then now he's cast out, him and his angels, onto earth. Why were they even allowed to contaminate the spaces of this heaven to begin with? But anyway, let us continue. And I heard a loud voice saying in heaven, now is come salvation and strength and the kingdom of our God and the power of his Christ. For the accuser of our brethren is cast down, which accuse them before our God day and night. And they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony, and they loved not their lives unto the death. Therefore, rejoice, ye heavens, and he that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knows that he hath but a short time. Why God never did just slay the devil? Why am I send the devil down here so for us? Why didn't he just slay the devil and his angels? Why was it important to send the devil down to earth to continue to corrupt man and not just gotten rid of the devil? The devil. Does God really, if I'm supposed to believe this story, does God really want us to live in peace and be kind to each other? Because as far as I've been seeing, he has been encouraging the complete opposite. If he's unleashing this devil on us, and this devil is the one with the capabilities to make us commit these sins, and he has the capability of destroying this devil, but he refuses. He's sending this devil on us, knowing it is hard for us to resist the temptations of this devil. I mean, I think he really wants us to not sin. I guess he just likes the fact that when we do, we're going to come back to him and beg him to forgive us, even though he is the one who has unleashed this evil on us. It doesn't sound funny, Tono? It sounds strange to me. I just gotta say it. It sounds weird to me. But I'm gonna continue reading, because that's what I'm here for. Verse 13, and when the dragon saw that he was cast unto the earth, he persecuted the women which brought forth. He persecuted the woman which brought forth the man child. Hold on. Hold on. Then I don't think God sent that woman to a place he had. Mr. The Bible, I see. The Bible, I see. Didn't it just say God had prepared this wilderness for this woman in heaven? And he sent this woman to this wilderness in heaven. And he tell them to feed her for 1,260 days. So now when he cast the devil down onto earth, this devil now seeks to persecute this woman who had given birth to this boy child. John sleep too long. That vision is too long. It started to not make sense. Well, it never did, but hey. So now this dragon is persecuting the woman which had brought forth the man child. All right, let us continue. And to the woman were given 2 wings of the great eagle. To the woman was given 2 wings of a great eagle, that she might fly into the wilderness, into her place, where she is nourished for a time, and times and half a time from the face of the serpent. So I'm just as confused as you are. So this woman who had just given birth to this child that the dragon was waiting on to devour, but God had secured this child, and he had sent off this woman to go live in the wilderness. He had prepared the wilderness for her beforehand, and he had sent this woman to go live in the wilderness and instructed the people in the wilderness to care for this woman. Now we are hearing that this woman was given 2 wings, like a great eagle, that she might fly off into this wilderness for them to feed her for 1,260 days. And the serpent cast out of his mouth water as a flood after the woman. So the woman had fly away from him for going to the wilderness, and him spew water out of his mouth like a flood after this woman, that he might cause her to be carried away of the flood. What a piece of dream. What a piece of dream. And the earth helped the woman, and the earth opened her mouth and swallowed up the flood which the dragon cast out of its mouth. So let me get this good. The woman just gave birth. The dragon was waiting to devour this child. The woman gave birth to a boy child, but God take this child. And this devil and his angels up at heaven fight and argue about all kinds of things, including why I never get to take the child, including everything. And then God cast out the devil and his angels down to earth. Now try to see if I remember what is me reading now. Cast them out down to earth. The woman who has just given birth, he sends this woman off into a wilderness. It said this woman gave birth up in heaven, and he sent him off to the wilderness. He never said this woman was sent down to earth as well. Now it says it cast out the devil and his angels down to earth. And then we're going to hear that this woman who was given wings of angels is now flying off into this wilderness where she's going to be fed for 1260 days. And the devil, still wanting to get his hand on this woman, spew out floods of water out of his mouth to try to drown the woman so he can get control of her. And then the earth swallowed up all this water so that the woman could fly away. Since the woman have wings, wouldn't she be able to fly above this flood? Since she got wings like eagle. Let me read this again. John says, and I beheld another beast. No, wrong part. Wait, let me read this. And when the dragon saw that he was cast onto the earth, he persecuted the woman who had given birth to the little boy. And to the woman was given 2 wings of a great eagle, that she might fly into the wilderness, into her place where she is nourished for a time, and times and a half, from the face of the serpent. And the serpent cast out of his mouth water as a flood after the woman, that he might cause her to be carried away of the flood. And the earth helped the woman, and the earth opened her mouth and swallowed up the flood which was cast out of the dragon's mouth. Some say John and Paul write story and they were not there. Listen, one thing I know is that they have a great imagination. A great imagination. I can give them that. But them something, yeah. I have just as many questions as you do, my friends. Let us read this. What else he says here? And he says, the earth helped the woman, and the earth opened her mouth and swallowed up the flood which the dragon had cast out of its mouth. And the dragon was angry with the woman and went to make war with the remnants of her seed, which kept the commandment of God and have the testimony of Jesus Christ. So the devil was angry at the woman because he couldn't catch her. Because he didn't catch her to do whatever he wanted to do with her. He had spewed out the water out of his mouth to try to have the water to drown her or to slow her down, whatever the case may be. But since she has wings of eagle, I figure she would fly above this water that the devil is spewing out of his mouth to try to catch her. And when he didn't catch her that way because the earth helped her and the earth swallowed up this water that was meant to drown her, he was so angry that now He went to make war with her generations. You know, people who had been um, coming from her line. The people who were from her seed, if you know what I mean. Yeah, her descendants. He starts warring with her descendants, and her descendants keep the commandments of God and have the testimony of Jesus Christ. This story is rather elaborate, very elaborate story. This is that John has written here. My questions still remain, my friends. How in the world and why in the world was this dragon given access to heaven in the first place? God-like opposition, yeah. God-like antagonism, yeah. Because of all the opportunities he has had that he should destroy the devil, he still hasn't. When the devil commits sin in heaven, he is cast out onto earth so he can continue to perplex the people on earth. The same people that God says shouldn't sin. But he sends the devil down there to influence them to sin. And then the people come back to him to ask him to help them not to sin. If there was ever a cockadoodle story, this is one. But I saw John say, all right, John says so, but remember John said it was a dream. Him did it late, right? Very late. Very late. I look like he need some wild pork too. Very late. I look like he need some wild pork. Because this a story and don't make no sense. Let me drink my little tea, yeah. Let me drink my little moringa tea. And this a story and don't make no sense. No make no sense to me at all. And even though they may have written it figuratively, it still don't make no sense. Like the woman give birth up in heaven. The dragon up in heaven are waiting to take possession of this baby. The woman gives birth to a little boy, and God takes possession of this baby. And the devil is angry, and him and his angels are arguing about how comes he didn't get the baby, and he needed to get hold of the baby, da 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 da. They're arguing. And so God throws him and his angels out, down to earth. And God sends off this woman into the wilderness. Gives this woman eagle wings and sends her off into the wilderness. And the devil is trying to get his hand on this woman. So what? The devil has given up hope that he can put his hands on this baby. And now he wants to put his hand on the mother of this baby. So now he wants to catch this woman. But God has given this woman eagle wings. And this woman is flying off into the wilderness. So the devil, in trying to catch her, spews out this flood from its mouth, trying to catch the woman, but the earth comes to the rescue, and the earth takes in all that water, and so the woman gets to escape from the devil. And the devil is so angry that the woman has escaped, that he has decided that, well, since I can't catch Kwaku, I'm going to catch him short. So since I didn't catch this woman, to deal with her, I am going to deal with every single person who is a descendant of this woman. I am going to torment the daylights out of them. And them sit down, people sit down in that church and preach day and night, and una sit down and say amen to. Satan vex because he don't catch the woman. The woman get eagle wings and fly with God in the wilderness. The people them go and feed this woman in the wilderness for 1260 days. And poor Satan so vexed, he say, he might go torment every seed. Everybody would descend from this woman. Because the people who descend from this woman are the ones who keep God's commandment and the ones who have a testimony of Jesus Christ. So I'm going to torment them forever. And I mean, says so in the Bible. Guys, it was an absolute pleasure being here. I want to say thanks to everybody who came into the live this morning. And those of you who hit the like button, those of you who tap the screen, I want to say thank you very, very, very much. I sincerely appreciate you. Thanks, my friends, for the rose and the donut. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Guys, this story here in Revelation that John has written, y'all need to go sit down and read it for yourselves, you know. Because I think when we read it, you know me the justice. I think y'all need to go sit and read this for yourself and ask yourself the pertinent questions when it comes to reading these elaborate things that are written here in the Bible. This was a dream by John, a dream. Okay? People have taken it to reality and saying that this is going to happen or this really did happen, forgetting that John said it was a dream, a vision. Okay? And we know that when we are dreaming, when we are having visions, our visions, oh Lord, they can be so elaborate, can take us into places we have never been, can take us into places we never want to be. It can also take us, sweet, what's up? How are you doing? It can make us do things that's not humanly possible. That's what happened in your visions. Paul here, John here is talking about this vision that he had as well. Sweet, what's up? Girl, we got to glow morning, noon, and night. That's what we do over here. Glow. Glow. How you doing, my love? How the little ones doing? Welcome into the live. So the live is just about done, my love. Yes, guys. So here, John is telling us what? Oh, good to know, my love. Good to know that they're okay. John is here telling us what he saw in that dream. And all of this has taken us on a roller coaster ride of impossibilities. But that's where we're going to end the reading for this morning. When we come back tomorrow, please note that tomorrow the live is going to start a little bit later, if at all. It all depends. Okay? So if you don't see me tomorrow morning, just relax on yourself. All right? Yeah, y'all will see me tomorrow some way, somehow. If you don't see me on the talk, you will see me on the tube, but you will see me tomorrow. Maybe not do the Bible reading, because if it's too late, I'm a little too tired. I don't like to read the Bible at that time. So I might come on here just to spend a little bit of time with you all. But I will be here. Trev, I'm looking to see who is interested in a topic about what appearance role is. Are you able to go live? Because if you're able to go live, that would be a good topic you could open up. I mean, you're not going to find, you might, but I'm just saying. I would open up that conversation. I would open up that conversation online and get people from far and wide, people from anywhere, to come on into the live and share their thoughts, share their opinions. That's a good thing I like about live. I don't have to go out and go source somebody to join me with any particular topic. I can just open it up online, open it up on live, and I will get so many people coming in. People I don't know. I don't have to know them, coming in and sharing their experiences and stuff, and I don't mind that. I like the point of views of I like varied points of view, so that's fine with me. Yeah, so that's what I think. Oh, you can't go live right now. Well, I think when you can go live, like right now would be a time for you to like write down the questions you would like to ask, or the answers you would like to get about whatever it is. Yeah, write those down so that when you start having that live, you can ask the people those questions. What do you think about XYZ? I can give you a scenario of 1 2 3. What do you all think? This is what I experienced, or this is an experience that was shared with me by somebody. So when you open up the live and you start with this topic, you will engage with the people. Some people who are not in it expect a role just when they want, but no. You are right. Have you ever seen? I've seen a lot of people shared over here on TikTok, on YouTube, on the internet in general, how parents, they have had parents who don't take an active part in their child's upbringing, but when the child is graduating college or the child is getting married, they want to stand front and center. They want to be acknowledged. They want to be given the coveted roles. No. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. You have to actively participate in your child's upbringing, in your child's life, for you to get a front seat in their adult life. That's how I feel. That's how I feel. If you could not have participated in their life when they were young, then it is only out of courtesy that they might say, that they might even talk to you when they are adults. Yeah. You can't be absent when you were needed and then to be present when you can be done without. Oh, please, move from here. Oh, please, no. We ain't doing that. We ain't doing that. Because by the time they're adults, they can do without you. So why would you show up then and expect to get the front seat at the table when there were children and needed you, you weren't there? Get out of here. I sure will, my love. I sure will. Hey, Donna. So them some of you say that, Donna. Then some must say, oh, the rose smells so good. Thank you, my love. Or when the parent who has the kids move on with a partner. Exactly. And when the parent who has the kid has struggled and raised that kid, then the absent parent wants to show up. Did you all see the case the other day? It would be a prime time to run that case, because there is Simone Biles, for example. Remember, Simone Biles' mom was not only young when Simone Biles was born, but she was strung out on illegal substances, etc. Now she made an interview. She did an interview with some radio TV station of the sort, and she is expressing a desire to be in Simone's life. And I don't think Simone accepted that too well, and rightfully so. She doesn't have an obligation to this person who birthed her but was not there for her. And I know some people say, oh no, Trev, but drug addiction is a disease, a choice turned into a disease. Yeah, and Simone have all the right if she don't want to. If it was me, I probably would have said, okay, mommy, no. Yeah, okay. But you can't blame Simone Biles for, just snubbing her like that. Because she wasn't there when she needed her. It was not important to her to remain sober to raise her children. So no, you cannot blame the children because the mama said now she's sober. Now that's, I'm an adult, you decide to get sober. So when I needed you, I wasn't important enough at that time for you to be sober for. Girl, bye. Anyway, let us continue. This is the end of this morning's Bible reading. Thanks again to everybody who came into the live. I sincerely appreciate you all. All right. Wait a minute. May I go run the 6 minutes and make it go on a 2 hour? Wanna think. Yeah. Also, so while I'm saying this, also I saw another situation where this guy, he said he had been with his girlfriend. I don't know if you all have seen this story. He said he had been with his girlfriend for like 10 years. When he started dating her, she had a little girl. The little girl has now grown up. He has been the father figure to that little girl. The biological father has not contributed dash to the little girl. And now the little girl has grown up. Getting she's getting married, and the mother and the little girl, who is now a young woman, they have now put the biological father front and center into the ceremony. And the man, well, he was never married to her mother, so I won't say her stepfather, but for argument's sake, and the stepfather, all he's doing is paying the money for this hell of a wedding in which he is going to be snubbed, and the biological father of this child is going to be put up front and center. I say, man, take your money and run, go about your business here. Because to me, it says that they are using you, or they have used you. And my mind tells me that that father was giving the mom money all along, but she never let her boyfriend know about it. That's what my mind tells me has happened. You say, I'm abandon them after 3 years. Girl, don't sweat it. Make him run go kick rocks. He claims because he's the biological partner, he wants a partner. Now, don't get me wrong, I think biological parents should have a role in their children's life. If you and him cannot agree on it, I say let the courts do it. Because for sure, the courts are going to give him, unless he can show that he is extensively without it. Yeah. The court is going to give him at least visitation. After 3 years of abandon, the court is not going to pay too much mind to that. If you say, oh, he has abandoned them for 3 years, the court is going to say, if he's a biological parent and he's not deemed to be unfit to be around the children, the court is going to say, he's supposed to have time with the children. In my situation with the sick and disabled child, asking, what? Girl, he crazy. He asking for proof that the child is sick. He shouldn't have to be asking for proof that your child is sick. He should be there to know that the child is sick. Girl, them men here too trifling. If I was of childbearing age and I look any of them man here, me couldn't deal with it. These men are just too trifling. And it's the truth. Them too trifling, man. You have your child, and for 3 years you abandon your child, and now you're coming to ask for proof that your child is sick. Boy, bye. He's crazy. He's crazy. But even with that lunacy, if he's a biological parent, I say, children need to spend time with their biological parents. Unless the biological parent, of course, is all loony. I firmly believe in time sharing. I don't believe in one parent hawking the child and not having the other parent see the child, unless the other parent is a clear threat to either the other parent or the child. Threats. Oh, so he's unstable. Threats to harm me, but how do a parent allow their kids around a person like that? No. That's why I say in a case where the other parent, the non-custodial parent, is threatening to harm the custodial parent or the child, no, we ain't gonna do that. We ain't gonna do that. We gonna stay far away from each other as the East is from the West. Yeah, we're not gonna do that. So that means that person would be showing that they are dangerous. They are dangerous. And if they want to be dangerous to the mother of the child, then they will be dangerous to the child as well. Because if you want to threaten to eliminate the child's mother out of their life, then you will do the same thing to the child. And oftentimes, I told them no one pay child support, you know. They don't want to have anything to do with the child because they don't want financial responsibilities. Yeah, some of them many are real junk right now, brother. Some of them don't even deserve to see the tail hem of a woman's skirt. That's true, man. You don't have to go on too bad. I have to treat people girl pick it too bad. That's true. That's true, man. You have to do better. You have to do better. Yeah. And you pick me at your responsibility. And him owe child support. And have some nerve. Child, please. Let me tell you something, my dear sister. Let me tell you something. When a man threatens to hurt you, don't take it lightly. Too many women we have seen get unalived by a baby daddy. The same baby daddy was nice and loving and sweet and caring to them prior to them having this child. And after them have this child, the same baby daddy turn a thorn in them side and turn around and unalive them. We see this stuff too often, man. So you don't take it lightly. Oh, this will text me. So don't take it lightly, my friend. You treat it as seriously as it is. You know, I tell you, this life here, there is much to bear. There is much to bear, considering that society no longer opposes. It talks the talk, but it doesn't want the walk. Society no longer opposes one man to one wife, because everybody can go out and have as many children with as many people and all these things. But I think a lot of life would be so much more uncomplicated. Not true. I think sometimes, you know, the society just say, all right, you're with a person here, you have kids with a person here, you have got to stay. You've got to stay to raise it. I'm not even about to talk about that because I like I did already. But anyway, we are going to move right along. This is going to be you made my mind went a far place escape. A far place just now. But anywho, what that? All right, guys, make it off the live and go get nosy what's that happening in my neighborhood. All right, guys, so that's going to be it. That's the end of the live for right now. When we come back later, we will do the breakfast live. Thanks everybody who came in. Thanks to those of you who tapped the screen. This screen. Those of you on the tube, I don't know why you all failed to hit the like button, but I would appreciate if you all do. So that's going to be it from me for this morning, my friends. Until next time, this is Trev from Trevessence, where your journey matters. Have yourselves a great day, everybody, and I will see